Good evening, guys. How you doing? It's about, well, let's just put it this way. It's late. It's after 12 o'clock. Uh, this is my time of night where there's a lot of discomfort and it's hard for me to sleep. So I figured I'd come out in the kitchen, spend a little time with you, catching up on how this all transpired in my life to where I am right now. But if you hear any strange noises, don't be alarmed. I have 3 dogs over there, and they make some pretty strange noises, let me tell you. Uh, to start with, I believe it was maybe shortly after my father passed in 2003. Actually, no, let me correct that. It was maybe 2002. I got married in 2002. I started experiencing heavy menstruating. Made nothing of it. Started getting strange pains, discomfort a lot. Always in my right side. It was like a radiating ache going through my back, where it actually could have been mistaken for possibly your kidney or kidney stone of some sort or UTI. But after I was taking notice on a monthly basis, the pain was radiating each time I was menstruating. I know we all in life have suffered from menstrual cramps, PMS, the whole thing. But your body pretty much knows that it's something different. Where you'd maybe be able to take a Midol or an Advil or a Tylenol and, you'd feel better. But nothing seemed to be working. That was about 10 years ago. Went to a local gynecologist here in my area. Had an ultrasound done. Was told I had an ovarian cyst that ruptured, actually, and that was what all the pain was that was radiating in my back. Because apparently some ovarian cysts, if they break on their own in a certain way, they're in a type of sac. An ovarian cyst, first of all, they generally say has to have movement in the ultrasound. If it's moving like water or waves, they're generally benign. What they look for is something that's solid and has no movement whatsoever. That's when, the doctor would be somewhat alarmed. According to the technician, I had a cyst that broke. So, of course, I'm going to believe in what your doctor's technician tells you. I left, made nothing of it. 4 months later, that so-called cyst that broke, and I would have no repercussions after that, I was told. The pains were back again and radiating. Again, around my cycle time. This time I went back again to the doctor. Another ultrasound. They didn't find anything. I've had Pap tests yearly since 1999. Every year. That's one thing I was very good about. Was seeing my gynecologist yearly is very important. Uh, each Pap test that I would get back, great report, negative, negative, negative. Uh, and you want to believe that that's what we're told. Everyone go for your yearly Pap, and everyone go for your yearly breast exam and everything, because you're obviously doing this to see if you have cancer, and I was very thorough with that. I never slipped up. And now we're back in 2003, 2004. I'm still getting negative Pap test results. 2005, pain began getting more extreme, both sides of my back. Not every month, but there was something out of the ordinary. This time I went back again to the same doctor. There was my first mistake. I'll get to that at a later time, but now magically another ultrasound is there, and within a 12-month period where I was told there was nothing in these ultrasounds, nothing in these Pap tests, now he sees in the ultrasound things that don't look right, shadows and masses, and we have to get in there and scope you and check everything out. I agree. What ends up happening is I'm diagnosed with endometriosis. Now, endometriosis is, from my knowledge of having it, thickening of your uterine lining, and has a lot to do with estrogen, and that your eggs are not releasing properly, and it's very painful, and you can get lesions, and the endometriosis starts growing inside of you, and it actually is a strange disease, because it can start attaching itself like cobwebs. It sometimes the fragments can attach to your bowel, and sometimes other areas of your body, and it's almost like Velcro. It starts to peel away from your uterine lining, and it's actually very disgusting to look at on an ultrasound. And he went in with scopes and operated on me in 2005, and there was no cancer whatsoever. He biopsied me, nothing, zero, but he did tell me that it was a mess, a big mess, and I was going to need a hysterectomy at some point. He did, I assume, clean up some of the tissue that was in there, because when it was over, I was pretty pain-free from about 2005 to 2008, 2009. He did something right. Maybe removed enough to get me by, or whatever. But again, most people, I know I do, and I'm sure a lot of you do, this saying, don't fix something that's not broken. Pretty much when people feel good, they don't go to doctors. I've been doing that my whole life. I have a toothache. I've made appointments with dentists, pounding, throbbing toothache, and the day before I'm ready to go, it stops and I cancel. Um, People just generally don't want to go to the doctor when you feel fine. At least I don't. I'm not crazy about doctors to start with. So, me feeling good for all those years, I put off the hysterectomy. And was pretty much being told by the specific physician, makes no difference who he is, you cannot get cancer from endometriosis. And you, of course, want to believe your doctor. Um, hey, I can't get cancer from it. I don't have any pain. Uh, just live life. That's it. Keep going, you know. No. 2000, I believe 10. I mean, I'm not really sure of my dates, but it's over the past 3 years. Heavy bleeding again. Not being that thrilled with my last gynecologist, I decided last year I was going to find a new one. And he was a distance from where I live, over an hour away. Unfortunately, when I went to him, he was ready to retire. So him and I were only doctor-patient for possibly even 2 months, if that. And he did another ultrasound, and this was just last year. And he didn't see anything, just again endometriosis, cysts, everything. But this man wanted to take a test called a CA-125, and remember that if it's ever offered to you when you're at the gynecologist, they make you believe that this blood test is going to tell you if you have any cancer, cervical, uterine, ovarian. This is the magic blood test, okay? I have the CA-125 done, and of course you're having a cancer test done. You're on edge. You're waiting for the results. I get a text message 7 days later from the retired doctor. He had already left for Florida, but he was nice enough to text me my cancer results. This was January 11th from last year. CA-125 was completely normal, negative. And yes, it's 12:30, it's my cigarette time. So here I am, January of 2011, cancer-free. I'm thinking I'm cancer-free right up until 2 weeks ago. Lo and behold, last month, here comes the pain again. It's radiating again. And I'm thinking, hey, it's 2012 now, it's time for your yearly again. Nothing at all made me think there was any risk that I could have cancer because of the fact of my consistent ultrasounds, a CA-125 blood test. I pretty much covered everything. I thought I covered everything. What gynecologists do not tell you, and I don't know why, uh, you can't diagnose endometrial uterine cancer by an ultrasound. You cannot diagnose it by a blood test. You can't diagnose it with a Pap test. The only thing a Pap test, a CA-125 blood test, and an ultrasound, if you're lucky, will show is ovarian cancer. Possibly cervical, I'm unsure of that, but I can pretty much guarantee you none of those things are going to 100% diagnose you with uterine cancer. Which alarms me, because people go yearly for your Pap tests, and you go in and you believe everything's okay. And it possibly may not be. Biopsies are needed to be taken. Sure, they can be a little painful. A lot of doctors are not going to want to give you one for no reason. But I think more women should start demanding them. Uterine cancer is luckily the one that I was told is slow progressing. But you have to think of it the way I'm thinking of it. What if, per se, the Pap test I took in 2007 came back negative, which it did, and I have uterine cancer? And what if I wasn't that lucky that I have a slow progressing cancer and I had one of the more progressive cancers? There's different types of uterine cancer. Some of them can start growing on the outside of the uterus. There's a name for it off the top of my head. I can't pronounce it. Because by now I'd be in pretty serious shape, probably in a stage of cancer that I probably wouldn't have a fighting chance at all. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I got a biopsy 2 weeks ago. Now, may I remind you, I went in because of pain, had an ultrasound, again, probably my 50th in 10 years. Said there was a couple of cysts on my ovaries, nothing major. And this is actually what my gynecologist said to me up here, because I live in an area. Don't get medical attention here. It's a joke. You might be better off going to your local veterinarian. He stood there and he said, well, maybe I should take a biopsy at a later date. And I said, oh, is there a reason for it? No, Mrs. Propay. Just protocol, something to, we should do. I said, well, what would this biopsy be looking for? His words were, any kind of crazy stuff going on in there. Now, crazy stuff, I quote, what is crazy stuff? He said, cancer or something. Like, okay. I looked at my gynecologist in the eyes, and I'm a very direct person with doctors. Do you think I could have cancer? He said, absolutely not. No way, no how. You're just filled with endometriosis. I said, all right. I actually had to convince him to give me that biopsy that day. Because, hold on please. Go lay down. Enough. I had to convince him to give me that biopsy right there on the spot, because he's an hour away from where I live. And he said it's not necessary. You come back another time. And something told me, no, I'm not driving back here in another month. I'm here now. And he got a little annoyed, and he said, all right, you live far away, and all right, let's just do it now. Okay. Nurse comes in. Done. It's painful. I mean, I'll admit, I'm sure some of you have had them. Me not having a child, I have no idea what labor pains are all about, but the nurse told me it would feel like about 60 seconds of labor pain. Of course, after I had it, I now completely understand why I never gave birth. No. It was a lot of discomfort. Went home. He told me I'd have some type of spotting after it. I didn't think another thing of it. Protocol, according to him, it was just something we should do. That was Tuesday, I believe. Let me get my dates right. It was a Tuesday. I think maybe we're in March. It might have been like February 28th, that Tuesday in there, or whatever, the last week in February. And he said about a week for the results. No problem. Gone. I'm home. I'm not even thinking about it. But the pain is getting worse in my back. Now I'm starting to think, well, if there was only a couple of small small cysts on my ovaries, what could be causing this pain? Maybe it's not gynecological. Maybe it's not related at all. I go for an ultrasound of my kidneys. Now I have my doctor locally's physician assistant telling me that I possibly have a kidney stone. Of course, again, you want to believe in your primary health care. I go for an ultrasound. Nothing. Results come back. No kidney stone, no kidney infection, no anything infection, nothing. I decided 4 days after my biopsy I was going to call back my gynecologist myself. Just hated my biopsy come in. There I am sitting in my truck in Walmart parking lot. It's a fairly nice day. Alone. Laura was in shopping. That's where I was told I had uterine cancer by phone in a parking lot on a Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. My opinion, it was unethical. There was no care involved, no compassion. It was just told to me. They were going to send me paperwork in the mail and send me on to an oncologist. That was it. They left me. The weekend is here. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have uterine cancer. And it's basically saying, Patty, there you are. you're there for the weekend and you can have your nervous breakdown now, or you can drive off a cliff, or you can shoot yourself in the head, or whatever way is easier for you. Um, Not even asking me to come into the office. Uh, do I want to talk to anybody? Um, Let us call you back later on. You know, maybe he could have made an exception to stay later in the office. You want to come down here? We could sit down, consult. Uh, no, 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 no. That's it, Patty. You have uterine cancer. Um, I, People sometimes, when they're told something horrendous in life, they come out with some of the stupidest things that you can imagine. And I did. I said, am I going to die? You ask your doctor a question like that, I don't think your doctor is going to say yes, first of all. But his answer was, I sure hope not. Um, let's just put it this way, that whole day was a fog and a blur. And there's parts of it I still don't remember. Um, but it was a bad weekend. I can share with you absolutely anything. That's why I'm doing this journey and this video blog. Uh, I like life, and probably since high school, I don't think I've ever, not that I can ever recall, I've ever thought of not wanting to live. People joke around, oh, I've had it, I'm done, you know, but if you seriously sit down, I've never really thought of not having my life. That was the first weekend, was the only weekend in my life that I contemplated not having my life. Weird thoughts, weird emotions, thinking of ways I gotta get out of this now. I have to get out of it. I have to stop it now. I don't want to go through this, because when you're told you have cancer, because of all the TV we watch and all the Lifetime movies, oh my god, the Lifetime movies, if you're depressed now, don't watch Lifetime. Everything you see on TV is somebody sick or dying, or a tragedy, or people with cancer and chemo and radiation, and sick and sick and sick, and weight loss and hair loss and bandanas, and your mind just goes in a spectrum of, oh my god, I can't possibly go through something like that. And you pretty much right there say, no, I'm not. I'm not going to go through that. I'm not going to lose my hair. I'm not going to throw up, and I'm not going to have diarrhea, and I'm not going to get sweats and chills and shake, and let me end this now. And I'm sure you can relate to what I'm trying to say without coming right out and saying it. First time in my life, I was looking for the easy way out. I've never done anything in my life the easy way out. Helpless, very helpless feeling. I knew it was going to be very, very difficult on my family. And not because Well, let me take a step back. My mom um, went through a very, very difficult 9 months when my father lost his battle with endometrial cancer. Uh, she watched my father, my recollection, I think my dad, when he was diagnosed, was about 182 pounds. When he passed 9 months later, he was 107. His dignity was gone. Some of you who may see this blog know my father personally. He was a stout man. Some people would say the manly man. My father was the manly man. Strong man. He would do anything for his family. Anyone hurt his family, I would pray for them. So when you see your father and your husband, in my mother's case, go from 180 something pounds to 107, it's debilitating. It's I remember it like yesterday, and it was awful. I'm actually able to talk about my father now. I there were times in my past I wasn't able to talk about my father. I loved my father very much, but we had a relationship that he loved me. My father wasn't a emotional man. Like I said, the manly man type, if you know what I mean. I myself back then was a little bit of a colder type person. I had a front on all the time. No one was getting in. But I still loved my father, and it was hard to watch. But so not trying to get off track. So I knew, telling my family I had cancer. We are dealing with my mom. She's an 83-year-old woman. She lost her husband 9 years ago to this animal, and all she sees is cancer kills, cancer kills. I don't really think she saw 2 weeks ago beyond that. But I think Sloan Kettering and Dr. Brown, and a lot of reading. I do a lot of reading. I mean, my mother's not really up on the internet and all that stuff. She's starting to believe that cancer treatment's come a long way. So she's getting a little better in the past 2 weeks. I think she's still a little unsure. I don't know what she's thinking. I know she's praying every night. But, you know, like they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And our parents are old school, and they're set in their ways. And that's why it's very important for myself, of course, too. I need to prove and show my mother that cancer does not kill everybody. Um, I I got a fight on my hands. Um, I'm tired now. I had a couple of rough days, I'm sure you all know, the past 2 days. The worst thing in creation could have happened to me, only could happen to me, of course. Um, I menstruate during this time, after biopsy, and whatever else is going on inside of there, and it was pretty bad. Bad enough that I had to be taken by ambulance to the hospital yesterday. I actually thought I was going to bleed to death, but it's under control now. My sister makes a joke, keeps spirits high. You couldn't get away with this till the 9th. You had to get one more period before surgery. She says good to the last drop. No. It was almost my last drop, yeah. But not getting off track. I just want to reiterate how serious it is to tell your doctors a Pap test is just not enough. A CA-125 blood test is just not enough. Maybe about 20 years ago, uterine cancer was more detected in women in their 50s, but some reason, actually maybe the past 15 years, there are women getting endometrial cancer in their 30s and 40s, which I would think would become a little more difficult to detect because generally women in their 50s have stopped menstruating, and they say that that's how they used to be able to tell there was something wrong. When you'd stop menstruating, you'd be going through menopause, and you'd be done. A year would go by and you'd have no cycle, and then maybe 18 months down the road you'd start to bleed. See, that's a warning sign to people right now too, who, if you are going through menopause and your period is gone and it's been gone for a length of time, and all of a sudden one day it comes back, there is a definite caution flag there for you right there to get right to a gynecologist. So women in their 30s and 40s are generally still menstruating. We're not through menopause yet, so you would have a much harder time detecting it yourself. You wouldn't even realize it was happening because you're still bleeding. So it's a tricky little illness. I don't know how long I've had it. I want to believe that I was cancer-free in 2005. I hope. Remember, there were so many ultrasounds done to me and so many Pap tests done to me, and so and everything was always negative. So I really couldn't tell you definitively if I was cancer-free in 2005. But I know one thing: I'm not now, and you can't go back and what I should have done, what I shouldn't have done. I should have had the hysterectomy. I should have. That's over. It's a new day now. I have to start from day one. Uh, Day one for me started the day I was diagnosed. Uh, my mental state has completely changed. Uh, I used to be a funny person, people tell me. I guess. I don't know. I'm not finding a lot lately to laugh about. I've lost something in me, the fun, the vibrancy. Yes, I come on Facebook every morning, and I'll say good morning, whatever food group it is today. It seems to be the only place right now in my life, Facebook, that I feel the same. That's why it's so important to me to be there and to be talking to all you, because that hasn't changed in my life. Maybe it's because I know everyone can't see me and I'm just a pixel. It's easier to hide behind the pixels. But I'm comfortable there with everybody. But in my real world here, I'm not the same. I'm not saying everybody around me isn't trying. Everyone's trying to act the same, and that's the problem there. People are trying to act the same. It's not coming natural anymore. I know my family tells me you're gonna be okay. My husband tells me you're gonna be okay, but my husband, oh, that's a whole nother video blog. He's a very black and white man. There's no gray area for him. I don't really know what he's thinking. I know I talk to him every morning when he comes home from work. But I can see it in his eyes that he is unsure what's going to happen to me. He's telling me what he wants to tell me, but, you know, I'm pretty perceptive with people. And I really don't know what's going to happen with me. So, I think I got a good positive outcome from Dr. Brown, which she told me. She feels she can cure me. Am I gonna hold her to it? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But, some of you, actually not some, I got a few interesting inboxes from a few people in the past 2 weeks. Private, of course. I'm a very private person with anything anybody tells me. That they felt good about me talking about this because they as well had some medical issues, and it was making them start to think through and have a better positive approach with what they're doing. So it does help, because if anyone of you out there have anything wrong, or you don't want to talk about something, or take it from me, you can't do it alone. You think you're strong, but you need support system. You need to open up to your friends and your family, and it helps. Like I said earlier in my earlier video, if I really didn't have all of you, this journey would be 100 times worse than I feel it is now. Not that I don't have a support system at home, I do. But you have to remember something. The people at home, they're with me all the time. And